Hello, and welcome back once again to Infinite Jeff, the project where I, Jeff, read the book Infinite Jest. One page at a time, one day at a time. This is page number 463. Let's just dive right in. Here we go. Permission. After he was down to the cuticles on all 10 digits, Gately had very discreetly approached a certain Percodan-devoted court stenographer an old girlfriend had once dealt to, and had the guy make equally discreet inquiries, and found that the potential Murder 2 investigation of the botched burglary, footnote 190, had been taken over, pace the loud howls of a certain remorseless Revere ADA, by something federal the addled stenographer called Non-Specific Services Bureau, whereupon the case vanished from any sort of investigative scene the stenographer could make inquiries about, though quiet rumor had it that current suspicions were being directed at certain shadowy knucko-political bodies, all the way up in Quebec, far north of the Enfield MA, where Gately had been cringing his way to nightly AA meetings with his fingers in his mouth. Excuse me. Most of the cases Gately had pending his PD had gotten closed without finding, footnote 191, contingent on Gately's entering long-term treatment and maintaining chemical abstinence and submitting to random urinalyses and making bi-weekly reparation payments out of his pathetic paychecks he earned cleaning shit and sperm under Stavros Labokulus, and now also cooking and live-in staffing at Ennet House. The only issue not resolved on a blue file deferral was the business of driving with a DUI suspended license. In the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, this issue carries a mandatory 90-day bit, as in like the penalties written right into the statute, and the case's PD had been upfront with Gately about it's only a matter of time of the wheel's slow judicial grind before some judge red files the issue and the case, and Gately has to do the bit at someplace MCI minimum like Concord or Deer Island. Gately isn't too hinked about 90 inside. At 24, he'd done 17 months at Billerica for assaulting 2 bouncers in a nightclub. It was more like he'd beaten the second bouncer bloody with the unconscious body of the first, and he knew quite well he could get by in a Commonwealth lockdown. He was too big to fuck or fuck with, and not interested in fucking with anyone else. He did his time stand up and gave nobody any provoking cause. And when the first couple hard guys had come after him for his canteen cigarettes, he'd laughed it off with ferocious jolliness. And when they came back a second time, Gately beat them half to death in the other corridor behind the weight room, where he could be sure plenty of other guys could hear it. And after that one incident it was out of the way, he could simply get by and not get fucked with. Gately was now hinked only about the prospect of getting just 1 or 2 AA meetings a week in jail. The only meetings sober inmates get are when an area group comes in on an institutional commitment, which Gately's been on, when Demerol and Tolwyn and good old weed are almost easier to get in jail than in the outside world. Gately cringed now only at the thought of the sergeant-at-arms, the distinguished-looking shepherd guy. Going back to ingesting substances had become his biggest fear. Even Gately could tell this is a major psychic. Alright, that was page number 463 of The Infinite Jest. Have a good night.